Uh, Hello? I think this is a very familiar angle, but not necessarily a familiar scene. Obviously lying on the ground. This was suggested by one of my friends who watched my video, saying that maybe I should put myself under my usual angle. Well, I would say it's very new for me, and it kind of feels very meditative just because I lay on the ground and I'm doing like this kind of hand gesture. So yeah, God, I'm losing my words. Anyways, this video would be an experiment for this new angle. We'll see moving forward if I will keep this angle for myself. But anyways, for today's video, some daily updates, and we're going back to my friend's place to continue the decluttering of her makeups and stuff in the bathroom. And of course there will be little kitties here and there. Okay, I hope you enjoy this new angle, and yay! Starting off with a little daily maintenance of all the random paper items I've collected recently. This includes some cards from restaurants I've visited with friends, plus one of the bigger flyers I got from Isemiyage. One other piece of feedback my friend gave me after watching my video was that it felt a little quiet. They suggested I should add some background music. But honestly, I personally didn't really want to do that. Whenever I watch these type of videos myself, I like having a choice of whether there's music playing or not, so I can play my own music while listening to people talking. Plus, these are longer videos, trying to pick the perfect background track that didn't get repetitive or clash with the mood for the entire duration. It's kind of tough. So here's my compromise. I'm actually creating a public Spotify playlist instead. If you are the type of person who prefers background music while you watch, you can just open up the playlist linked in the description and hit play. The playlist is basically just a collection of sounds I love and have been putting on repeat recently. I think I'll probably recycle the same playlist for a few videos at a time and just update it every quarter or so whenever my music taste shifts. That way you get total control. You can listen to my playlist, play your own music, or just keep it completely quiet while watching the video. It's all up to you. I'm also doing a quick unboxing today of some clothes I recently got from one of my favorite brands called J.Kim from Uzbekistan. I just love how they package everything. It always comes wrapped in this beautiful fabric packaging called tungun. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. That's the traditional way of packing things there. Beyond the packaging, I'm just genuinely obsessed with their design aesthetically too. There are a lot of cultural elements, specifically drawing inspiration from the Kyolo Salam community, Central Asian history, and the diaspora experience. I definitely want to do a deeper dive into all of that eventually, but I will save that for another video. And I obviously save all these pieces of fabric from every package I get. And here I'm just adding this piece of fabric to my collection of all the fabrics that I've collected from the packages. Now before we start bathroom decluttering, here's a quick recap of the before and after of the last round of cleaning. And then here's how it looks now. After I cleaned up her stuff last time, she told me she had to rearrange a few boxes, like how you see it here. Which makes total sense, because when I was organizing on my own, I didn't know her exact daily routine or what she reaches for the most. Last time, there were a lot of items where I wasn't entirely sure what she wanted to keep or toss. But now she's back from her trip, so we're going to go through everything together to see what can be thrown away and what has its place. We are starting with her jewelry. She actually found her jewelry boxes in another spot, so we're trying to work with whatever she has right now. For my own place, I personally prefer a specific setup with Muji, but everyone has different preferences, and I think it's best that we first utilize whatever is at hand rather than going out to get something extra instead. She has a lot of necklaces, and the trickiest part about necklaces, in my opinion, is that they can get tangled very easily. So while we are going through them, we are untangling the knotted ones and using the smaller boxes to separate them so they won't get all tangled up again. I think we definitely have very different accessory styles. Right now, I'm wearing my favorite bracelets. I really love these colorful beads. They're called disco, but to me, they feel more like Buddhist prayer beads. I always joke with my friend that these are my client beads, because whenever I get an angry client email, I would just start counting the beads to stay calm. It's kind of slowly becoming part of my personality, just because how colorful it is, and I actually get a lot of compliments on them too. While we were organizing my friend's makeup, I mentioned to her that she has a lot of makeup, at least compared to me. But she immediately shook her head and said the amount she has is literally nothing comparing to other people. That actually made me question, when we say a lot, what does a lot actually mean? Well, initially human beings created adjectives to describe things for others to understand. But words like that can be so confusing and accidentally lead to misunderstandings because everyone's baseline for average depends on where they are or what culture they grew up in or even just who they are. For example, I might be considered tall in Japan, but if I'm standing in the Netherlands or Norway where everyone is taller, I'm just completely average. Mapping the exact weight of an adjective from one language to another in translation can be tricky. It actually reminds me of a little argument I got into with Luke once. I said something to him like, "Oh, I think what you did was kind of stupid." And then he got really upset and told me, "Don't call me stupid." He said it very seriously. At the time, I was confused. I didn't think what I was saying was anything harsh at all. Like, why are you so mad? I just meant the action felt a little stupid. In my head, stupid exists on a wide spectrum. On one end, there's the cutesy stupid, like a little baby or a kitten doing something clumsy that you find adorable. Then there's normal stupid, like tripping over a banana peel. And then on the far end, there's the intellectual issues stupid. When you say something so ridiculously absurd that it feels like there's something genuinely wrong with your head. In Chinese, the direct translation for stupid is 傻. When you call someone 傻, it usually sits on the lighter cutesy end of the spectrum, like silly or tripping over a banana kind of stupid, at least according to me. It definitely doesn't mean your brain is rotten, so I couldn't understand why Luke took it so personally, though I agree not to use that word with him anymore. Then one day I was telling Luke about something that happened to me and how stupid I felt about it, and he wanted to comfort me in Chinese, so he tried to say, "Baby, you're not stupid." Except what he actually said was, in Chinese, 宝宝,你不是傻逼. And I was like, huh? 傻逼? In Chinese, 傻逼 is a very strong curse word. That's the word you scream at someone in the middle of the street argument if they do something completely insane or throw a racist insult at you. It's that your brain is completely rotten level stupid. And in that exact moment, I finally understood why Luke had been so hurt when I called his action stupid. Because in his head, he was translating stupid straight to 傻逼. He thought I was cursing at him in the harshest way. We both knew what the word stupid meant in theory, but our internal scale of how stupid the word actually was couldn't have been more different. So now, whenever I really want someone to understand what I'm trying to say, especially when it matters, I've started taking a different approach. I still use adjectives, but I try to anchor them with actual specifics. If I say something is really big, I'll try to mention exact square meters. Or if I say there's a lot of something, I'll clarify what that actually looks like. Are we talking about a couple dozen, hundreds, thousands? I've realized that being more specific with numbers and scale just saves so much confusion. At the end of the day, giving people a concrete baseline is the easiest way to make sure we're actually talking about the same thing. Oh, and look who's here! It's our precious little 大吉. She really loves plastic bags, but I think more than anything, she just loves being around humans. She's the kind of cat that prefers hanging out with people over other cats. Apparently, when my friend adopted her, the previous owner specifically mentioned that her new home shouldn't have any other pets. Whenever I lay on the sofa, sit at the table, or try to work, she would just wander around and sleep right on my lap or on my hands. She low-key stops me from working, but she's just way too cute to move. My friend and I actually started an Instagram account just for Daji, and it's been so much fun. I've never really built a social media presence like this before, since both of us are constantly taking photos and videos whenever we're around Daji. We have this massive vault of footage to work with. Because of that, we've been ridiculously productive. We've been pumping out 2 or 3 reels every single day. It's been quite interesting personally to see how the Instagram algorithm actually works in real time. We're constantly testing different types of content to see what catches people's attention more. At first, I thought meme-style videos would get the most likes and views, but it seems that the quieter, cozy videos of Daji just being a sleepy, cute kitty, paired with a relatable POV text overlay, seems to bring in more traffic. We've also noticed a few patterns. Reels definitely get more reach than photos. Videos with text on screen seem to perform better than plain footage, and vertical video definitely does a lot better than horizontal video. Obviously, we're still very early in the process and mostly doing this just for fun. Daji is so cute, and since we are already having all these adorable clips, we figure why not share them with friends and family and the internet. It's been a really fun side experiment alongside this YouTube channel, personally for me. I think I might be super late to the trend, but hey, I'm finally figuring out social media, or at least I'm trying to. Speaking of social media, I've also been doing a lot of reflection on this YouTube channel. I wouldn't say I'm really obsessed with views or likes, but I do check every day to see how the past 3 videos have been performing. I'm just trying to understand how the platform works. I actually had some experience running another YouTube channel in the past with a friend while she was my tea ceremony teacher, and I was mostly behind the camera. Back then, she handled a lot of the marketing. I remember it took us quite a while just to hit our first 100 subscribers. And while we were cranking out content, it really showed me how much time it takes to build that initial viewer foundation. Going through it on my own now feels very similar. You just realize how important self-PR and this initial outreach actually are. Recently, some of my friends have been asking me for follow-ups because I had mentioned on my story on Instagram that I was working on a YouTube video, specifically the one where I archived 6 years of paper clutter. But here's the thing, I didn't want this channel to be a one-off project, so I wanted to make sure it was something sustainable before I started telling everyone that I have a YouTube channel. I told myself and Luke and my best friend that once I hit 3 videos, I'd finally post about it on Instagram and tell everyone, hey, I started a YouTube channel, check it out. Well, I've officially cleared that goal. I am working on this 4th video now, and then I already have ideas drafted for my 5th and 6th. I really didn't want to waste my friend's energy or attention on something I wasn't going to stick with because attention is precious. I wanted to prove myself not to just others, that I could build something I'm proud of for the long run. Well, even though my views are still in the double digits, I do see a little bit of improvement every time I post. And I think that feels nice, knowing that I'm not getting completely ignored even without pushing it on my personal network. Gives me a little sense of quiet validation. My best friend keeps telling me I should just broadcast it already because that is worth showing people of what I'm doing. But to be completely honest, I've been stalling. I think I'm still a bit afraid of judgment. I'm not really scared of being judged by close friends or total strangers. I think it's that awkward middle ground, acquaintances, people you kind of know and but don't really know. I worry what if they think I'm not being authentic, what if they misunderstand my intentions. Words are tricky, like books or films. Once you put something out there, it's open to interpretation, and people might misunderstand the word or a thought you expressed. I mean, there's an inherent risk in putting yourself out there publicly. Talking through this right now, though, I realize what I am actually afraid of. My friend made a really good point. Only by putting it out there will you see how people react. Of course, some might not care or like it, but you also open the door to genuine connections with people who do resonate with how you think and who you are. I'll probably go back and forth a few times between these thoughts. Should I post it on Instagram or should I not? Before I finally hit share, I think I'll just need a little extra push. And since my friend said they're gonna push me anyway, I guess we're doing it. Misunderstanding and judgment might be inevitable when you create anything in public, but all I can do is just to get used to it and keep sharing, I guess. Alright, so going back to our decluttering session. We've officially gone through everything out of the boxes, separating out what my friends wanted to keep versus what she was ready to toss. From there, we took all the skincare and makeup products she's keeping and divided everything into 3 main categories. The first one are her daily essentials. The items she uses every single day went straight into a designated basket right behind the bathroom mirror, so they're super easy to reach. And then her occasional and backup things. The things she uses less frequently are stored neatly down under the sink to keep the counter clear. And the last category are the travel sized and samples. All those tiny samples and travel products she collected over time were packed directly into her little travel bag. It's been really interesting seeing how differently me and my friend approached letting go of things. I think my friend had a much easier time throwing things away. For me, throwing away things that I think is still usable is kind of hard. It's not about money. I just don't like the idea of throwing usable things away. I usually try to sell things online, whether it's accessory or clothing. I just want to give them a second home. But honestly, that creates its own mental pressure. Sometimes items can take forever to sell on secondhand sites, and they will just sit around in my space and I get bothered. I wish I could be a bit more like, oh, I'm gonna just throw this away and I'm not gonna feel guilty about it. Trying to recycle and rehome every single item can get pretty overwhelming. It definitely makes me want to buy less from the start. But with certain things like accessories, sometimes it can be tough because you buy something, you try it on, you thought it would work, but it just didn't. Whenever that happens, I try to pass it on, donate it, or sell it. So when my ex-boyfriend moved out, he left a bunch of stuff behind, which was pretty annoying for me because I feel that my space was getting invaded by things that doesn't belong to me anymore. Among the random items he left behind was a set of 10-kilogram dumbbells. They were small and definitely had some wear and tear. Throwing away 10 kilograms of solid metal felt really wrong. but keeping them wasn't an option. I'm never gonna use them. So I checked Amazon. A new set was around 2,000 to 3,000 yen. That's like 10 to 15 bucks. And on a random day at 1 a.m. in the middle of the night, I listed them on mercari. That's the Japanese secondhand app. And I listed for a little under 2,000 yen, expecting them to sit there for weeks. But for some reason, someone in the middle of the night at 1 a.m. immediately bought them after I listed them. I was completely shocked. I packed them up right then and there and then rushed to the konbini, to the family mart right away in the middle of the night. The thing was ridiculously heavy, so I had to warn the staff member at Family Mart, be careful when picking up because it's 10 kilos. And after mercari took their fee and I paid over 1,000 yen for shipping something this heavy, I literally made about 200 yen, which is a little over $1 now. It wasn't about that 200 yen at all, but it feels so satisfying knowing that instead of throwing 10 kilos of metal into trash, those dumbbells found a home with someone who actually wanted them. Putting all those organizing and decluttering techniques I've been studying online into practice was such a rewarding experience. Even though I'm definitely not a professional yet, it felt amazing to use what I've learned to actually help a friend and make her daily routine just a little bit easier, hopefully. And more than that, it did turn into such a sweet bonding experience as well. Sitting down together and shifting through someone's personal space gives you a whole new way to get to know them. It's not really something you normally get the chance to do as friends. I think I might actually start offering this to my other friends whenever they need a hand decluttering or organizing their spaces. And now for the final stretch. We are just putting everything back into place and we are officially at the finish line. I've noticed that with this fourth video, my video lengths are starting to stabilize right around 20 to 25 minutes. Honestly, I think this is a much more sustainable length for me. It keeps the editing process manageable so I don't get completely overwhelmed doing everything entirely on my own. As you can see, everything has its place now. Daily essentials are neatly tucked behind the mirror and everything else is organized underneath the sink. So yeah, that's pretty much of it. I really hope you enjoyed the video and the little clips of Daji. Thank you very much for watching and hopefully I'll see you soon in the next one.